Hey guys, welcome. If you clicked on this video, it means that there's a good chance you're exhausted. Not just tired, but deep down, hollow kind of tiredness. When there's a rest there doesn't seem to be helping, really it's just comes down to that's burnout. You're struggling, an uphill battle. And today we're going to talk about what's actually happening in your brain and body and when it hits. So why the advice you have probably heard and isn't working, and what evidence does it give you based on psychology actually says you can do about it? Well, I want to be real with you, and I know what it's like. Burnout isn't productive. It's not a productive problem. It's really just not fixing by better time blocking or any morning routines. It's just the stress response crisis. It needs to be treated like one, and stick with me on this. By the end of this video, you're going to feel a lot clearer about it. Clear frame of mind about the whole situation of understanding. So let's start recovering and help you through this. So the term burnout, coined in the 1970s by psychologist Herbert Fnurbergery, I think that's how you pronounce this guy's name, but it was researcher Christina who basically created this, who gave us the framework we still need today. But she identified three core dimensions of a burnout. First, emotional exhaustion. This is depletion everyone talks about. Your emotions reserves are gone. You have nothing left to give. And second, depersonalization. You feel detached to everyone else, and it's just hard to work towards your goals and even people around you. This isn't being a bad person. Third, reduce sense of accomplishment, personal accomplishments. And you stop feeling like you're doing anything that matters, and effort stops. So here's what's important, okay? The burnout is not just stress. Stress is a healthy dose, but in small amount, manageable. Burnout is what happens when the stress never lets up and your system never fully recovers in chronic state. And research published psychologists really tell you that, showing that people experience burnouts have dysregulated cortisol patterns and meaning of stress hormones, and that you're supposed to rise in, and it's a challenge really in the morning and fall at night time, and you struggle completely out of sync and your body loses the regulation itself. And this is why a lot of people are on medication at night to help them fall asleep. This is why sleeping 9 hours or 10 hours and still wake up exhausted, your nervous system is stuck in a stress loop, and it's not a healthy place to be. This is where the whole concept of cortisol makes it hard. So let's look at the situation a little differently. A lot of people don't recognize that burnouts are not until they're deep in us. And because when we sneak up on us gradually, it's really quite a horrible place. So here's some signs that you could feel really super tired. You feel kind of emotional numbness, not sadness exactly, but just flat. Things that used to excite you don't excite you anymore. You're irritable. You have trouble concentrating. You get sick more often. You feel like you're going through motions. Here's one big bit. You feel guilt. You feel guilty about resting when you should. Like you should be doing more, even when you have nothing left to give. And that guilt is part of that trap. So if you're nodding along these several things, I want you to take this very seriously and not spiral, but to acknowledge that some of these real things happen to most of us. So, okay, so you've recognized the burnout. You've tried to fix it. And maybe you took a vacation. Maybe you've tried meditating or journaling. Maybe you said no more, and then it comes back. Or is it never fully left? Here's why. Most of the burnout advice treats the symptoms, but not the sources. And the vacation gives you the nervous system a brief break, but really the return comes and your stresses, same patterns come back. You'll be burnt out again within a week. And research backs this up. Studies have been done, vacation recovery, show that effects fade for most people within 2 to 4 weeks. That's not enough. So to return to work, you need really your brain screwed on, don't you? And the problem isn't that you need a break. The problem is that your relationship with effort, rest and identity and worth needs to be fundamentally shift. Dr. Christine Neff research on some compassion. Self-compassion is common, really important here. She found that people who are high self-criticism are going to do that regularly. So who tie their worth to productivity? So significant, vulnerable to burnouts are slower to recover from it. I know from my own self, I do it too. And internal pressure can be much driven to external demands. So what actually works? Well, let's get into that. So here we go. Pillar 1, radical rest, not passive rest. So there's a difference between passive rest and scrolling on your phone watching TV. Well, that's a bit sucks really, doesn't it? For most of us who watch YouTube. And research Sandy Mann calls restorative rest. Restorative rest involves activities that allow you to pretty much your cortex to generally really deal with it and think differently and walk in nature, daydreaming, gentle movement with no performance goal, creative play without any pressure at all. Studies have default mode and network and activation and show this type of unstructured mental downtime when the brain is actually struggling to deal with it and repair and reset. So scrolling doesn't do this. It keeps the brain more reactive. Prescription on internally schedule at least 20 to 30 minutes. Genuine restorative rest. Not as a reward, but as a medicine. I normally have a nap between 20 to 30 minutes a day, if I can. Pillar 2, identify, address the source. So this requires honesty. Is your burnout coming from workload or is it a toxic environment? And these values are important to know. And your work, your lack of autonomy, and the difference between solutions and CBT offers a useful tool here. Cognitive behavioral analysis of burnout drives what are the thoughts and behaviors and situations maintaining your stress. So a therapist can help with this, but you can also start by asking, what would to have change for this feeling to be sustainable? And write down your answer without filtering. Pillar 3, rebuilding your nervous system. Burnout lives in the body, not just the mind. So really, this is just a theory developed by Dr. Stephanie Porges, and tells us that chronic stress keeps us stuck in sympathetic activation, fight or flight, and the recovery requires shifting this mode. So evidence-based practices that do this, diaphragmatic breathing is well known. So exhaling activates the vagus nerves, cold water exposure in short doses, yoga, movement, constant sleep. Prioritizing sleep is a non-negotiable, especially for me. No, not aspirational, but 5 minutes of slow breathing before bed is good. So try that out. Number 4 pillar is rebuilding meaning and identity. So this is the deepest layer, and most burnout recovery plans skip it entirely. And when we burn out, we often lose touch to why we are doing something in the first place. So we self-determine, we end up self-theory and develop so many things. And psychological needs are related and needed to be dealt with and very severely depleted. And this is not a healthy lifestyle. So these has to be a severe depletion. So ask yourself, do I feel I have agency in my life right now? Do I feel capable? Do I feel connected to others? Do I answer, will I tell you that you rebuild yourself first? Ask yourself, do I feel I have currency in any way? This might mean reconnecting with a purpose that has nothing to do with productivity, but a creative outlet, maybe a relationship, a cause. It might be meaningful therapy. It might even be a larger life audit, but it's essential. Maybe that's what life coaching is all about. So here we go. The next part is, I know that it's a lot, but so let me know if something is concrete to start with this week. Step 1, do a burnout audit. Rate yourself from like 1 to 10. Emotional exhaustion, criticism, effectiveness on scale 1 to 10. Just get honest with yourself. Write it in a journal. Step 2, identify the biggest stressor, not a list. Just one. Just what is that thing that particular week that removed or reduced that would make most difference? Starting there somewhere at least, and genuine unstructured downtime, at least 20 minutes. Step 4, talk to someone. You can read a book if you want. I do that. A therapist or a doctor. Trust a person in your life that you trust. Burnout is not something that we do alone. Research consistently shows that social support is one of the strongest recovery that you'll get. So don't fix everything at once. You just have to stop pretending everything is fine when it isn't. The start is giving yourself what you actually need. Burnout is a character flaw, not a laziness. It just happens when humans are struggling. So ask themselves to give more than sustainable situation for long term. Without enough replenishment, you are going to be struggling, but you're not broken. you are depleted. So being depleted, you need to refurbish that part of you so that you can take it seriously and be wise. This is why this video will help you, and I'd love to share this with you at any point in time. Drop in the comments what you want to go deeper on, and how I've linked some of these resources in descriptions that you can actually follow, including reading a list of nervous system recoveries or self-compassion research. Taking care of yourself. I'll see you in the next one. Until then, see you soon.